is ABS, the face of national broadcasting. Broadcasting live from ABS Studio in St. John's, Antigua, this is the ABS Evening News.
On our broadcast tonight, $67 million forfeited to the government of Antigua and Barbuda. ONDCP makes a major move against funds owned by former Ukrainian Prime Minister Pavlo Lazarenko.
Push on poultry, fresh attempt to increase local chicken meat production to reduce imports.
Crucial discussions on correspondent banking. Prime Minister meets with 2 regional financial institutions.
And Labour Department backs call for increased wages for skilled workers in private security sector. The ABS Evening News begins now.
The local evening news is brought to you by Nagico, local agents Bryson's Insurance.
Good evening, it is Wednesday. I am Terry Andrew.
And I'm Donna Marie McIntosh. Welcome to the ABS Evening News.
We begin here this evening with news of a major asset forfeiture of millions of US dollars to this country's coffers.
Some $67 million have been turned over to the government of Antigua and Barbuda as a result of successful forfeiture under the country's anti-money laundering laws. With more on this story, we go to Andy Liebert.
The monies were seized from the accounts of former Ukrainian Prime Minister Pavlo Lazarenko. The Office of National Drug and Money Laundering Control Policy, ONDCP, in a media statement on Wednesday, revealed that Justice Albert Redhead ruled that the funds held in Lazarenko's account in the Eurofed Bank in liquidation is forfeited and be transferred to the government's forfeiture fund. The ONDCP previously froze the funds on the grounds that the funds had been obtained through acts of corruption committed by Lazarenko while in public office. The DPP Anthony Armstrong and attorney Curtis Bird successfully argued that Lazarenko had no credible explanation for how he was able to generate such large amounts of money. Director of the ONDCP, Lieutenant Colonel Edward Croft, commended Armstrong and Bird on their skilled and effective work on the case. Colonel Croft says it shows the world that Antigua and Barbuda is not open for business to the international criminal community. He also took the opportunity to encourage all financial institutions to ensure that they have in place an adequate anti-money laundering and counter-finance terrorism system, which is critical to supporting money laundering prosecutions and forfeitures. Andy Liebert reporting for ABS News.
News now of a drive to significantly increase poultry production in this country. Agriculture Minister the Honourable Arthur Nibbs used a recent interview with ABS to call the nation's attention to untapped potential in this area of livestock farming. With Antigua and Barbuda being a major consumer of chicken meat, preliminary steps are being taken to produce more of the meat consumed locally, as Aisha Caleb reports.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries and Barbuda Affairs will provide support for the local poultry industry. It is encouraging local entrepreneurs to become involved in agriculture and expressed that it will establish a strong supporting mechanism for farmers and other local producers. The aim is to make Antigua and Barbuda more self-sufficient as it moves to increase its food security and food sovereignty action plan. Currently, the Twin Islands import in excess of 10 million pounds of poultry per annum, an alarming figure according to agriculture officials. But a possible collaboration with local broiler producers could ensure that up to 10% of this amount is produced locally over the next 2 years. Further, statistics show that meat and meat products account for over 30% of the national food import bill, which presently stands at a whopping 375 million EC dollars. Consultations are now being held with local stakeholders, including importers, local producers and consumers, to chart the way forward. This is Aisha Caleb reporting for ABS News.
Also here for us this evening, there has been a new development in what has widely been described as the correspondent banking crisis. Prime Minister the Honourable Gaston Brown has been holding talks with key regional institutions regarding concerns over the withdrawal of correspondent relationships by overseas banks with Caribbean institutions. This past weekend, he discussed the matter with officials of the Barbados-based Caribbean Development Bank and the Jamaican National Building Society. The talks come ahead of a de-risking conference to be held here in Antigua next month. Prime Minister Brown heads a special CARICOM committee leading an effort to address de-risking, which poses a grave threat to economies in the region. European and North American banks have cited fears over money laundering and terrorism financing for cutting off existing relationships with banks in the region. Following the meeting with the two institutions, the Caribbean Media Corporation reports that Prime Minister Brown calls the issue an existential threat. The Prime Minister fears that it has the potential to decimate the living standards of the region. He's calling for a collective approach in addressing the threat. He told the CMC that JNBS and CDB will provide technical assistance to advance CARICOM's advocacy efforts and to identify solutions to the challenges. Prime Minister Brown calls correspondent banking services a public global good that are essential for participation in global trade and are particularly important for small island economies.
Now, in a major development at this hour, Antigua and Barbuda will soon become the first country in the CARICOM region to establish an embassy in the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Antigua and Barbuda's ambassador to the UAE, Casroy James, says the development will ensure that integration is deepened with the country, which is made up of 7 emirates. He says the Twin Island state stands to benefit greatly from ties with the Persian Gulf country and says significant headway has been made over the past 2 years.
For us, though, the decision to launch in such a direction, it makes not only a political sense, but it makes business sense. You know, Prime Minister, he set the tone. He says Antigua and Barbuda will become the economic powerhouse, and I believe him with that. And so for those of us in the diplomatic corps, it's really incumbent upon us to come up with creative ideas in which we can help support that vision. And so the whole thinking behind of it is to support that particular vision, and as the gentleman said, is that the timing is right.
Meanwhile, the country will be the center of attention in Dubai in the UAE for an event called Destination Antigua and Barbuda and themed Antiguan Fever. The 2-day affair will seek to entice new investment opportunities in a push for greater collaboration with the Emirates. A delegation led by Prime Minister the Honourable Gaston Brown, along with Minister of Foreign Affairs the Honourable Charles Fernandez, will attend the event on October 8th and 9th. Millionaire movie star investor Robert De Niro will also be one of the featured speakers at the event.
Of immediate concern, the country's fire chief is hoping for a new law that would make it mandatory for new houses and business establishments to be equipped with smoke detectors. It's the latest issue raised in the public discourse about what can be done to curtail house fires. We get our report on this from Jano Smith.
Fire Chief Elvis Weaver made the comment amidst growing public alarm over the number of house fires in the country.
The smoke detectors are very important, and it has been banded out that probably we need legislation to compel people when they're building to put smoke detectors in their house. It's really an early warning that fires in your house, because as long as the smoke hits the smoke detectors, the alarm will go off. So it's important. Just a few weeks ago in Parliament, I hear the Minister of Health actually said that the government will be providing over 25,000 smoke detectors to the residents of Antigua and Barbuda. That would be a great help.
The fire chief is also expressing concern about old houses that have not been properly rewired. He says households which use candles for lighting are also a cause for worry.
The houses that were built a long time ago, the wiring has not been changed. And then in this modern Antigua and Barbuda, you have a lot of computers, you have cell phones, so the circuits are being overloaded, and things like that can cause house fires.
Meanwhile, he says the number of house fires so far this year is set to fall far below last year's total. There have been 270 such reported incidents this year, while there were over 600 for the entire 2015. Elvis Weaver says the major difference this year has been the fact that fires have received more public attention. The issue has also stoked further public anxiety this year, with one of the fires proving deadly, claiming the lives of nurse Gayanne Williams and her 3-year-old son, Jaden Prince. Weaver says that the Fire Prevention Unit has intensified public education efforts to prevent any further fatalities caused by fires. Janora Smith for ABS News.
Now, there has been a positive response to the closer working relationship between the Emergency Medical Services and the Antigua and Barbuda Fire Department. EMS Director Sean Greenidge announced that EMS will now be dispatched with firefighters whenever calls are made. Fire Chief Elvis Weaver says this initiative is a great idea and this partnership will benefit Antiguans and Barbudans.
EMS and the fire service always work together. And lately, since the fire in Jennings, you would have heard that the EMS send out a communicator. There will be, anytime there's a house fire, they will send an ambulance. Instead of us, when we reach and someone get burned or someone is sick, then calling an ambulance, the ambulance will be right there.
Starting on Thursday, some 40 EMS technicians will be getting intensive refresher training, which is aimed at improving the abilities of first aid responders and optimizing care for burn victims within the first hour of a blaze.
Equally important, the Labour Department is supporting a recommendation for an increase in wages for skilled workers in the country's private security sector. The matter was discussed on ABS's popular current affairs program Against the Backdrop this morning. Host Amar Spencer has a recap.
Labour Commissioner Eltonia Rojas has reiterated the National Minimum Wage Advisory Committee's recommendation for an increase in payment for certain skilled workers within the private security sector. This is in an effort to attract nationals of Antigua and Barbuda to the field, which she says is dominated by non-nationals. The Labour Department believes that most nationals tend to shy away from this line of work because of the low wages.
There have been discussions for the minimum wage paid to security guards to be increased, and that could very well be one of the reasons why locals are uninterested in working in the field. I've, as recently as last week, penned a reminder to the Labour Minister that that was actually a recommendation coming out of the last review of the minimum wage by the National Minimum Wage Advisory Committee.
Rojas says the proposed increase will likely have to be significant to truly draw nationals to the sector. She says the domination of the field by non-Antiguans is a cause for concern given the sensitivity of the job.
It's actually a dangerous trend in that how can we have non-nationals dominating any sector? And what of security? How important is security to us? What we find is that because of the shortage of security guards or the lack of interest in nationals in performing those duties, the companies are relying very heavily on any manpower, migrant, legal or illegal.
Another area dominated by non-nationals is the domestic worker sector. According to the Labour Commissioner, many of these workers often work without benefits because they are not staying legally in the country.
You tend to find that there tend to be gray areas where they're concerned. Sometimes they take up the work because it fits their needs, but if they are not working legally, then it is difficult for them to approach the same authority that could prosecute them for working illegally for help. And so you find that some of these cases fly under the radar, and we've been trying to educate persons.
She therefore emphasizes the need for non-nationals to have their status regularized so that they can receive all benefits accorded by law and to ensure help from the Labour Department. Amar Spencer reporting for ABS News.
The government on Tuesday sought approval from lawmakers in Parliament's upper house for the Constitution Referendum Bill 2016. However, the bill, which seeks to outline the procedures and processes for holding of a referendum, was met with howls of concerns from opposition senators. Here's Aisha Caleb with the details.
As he piloted the bill, Leader of Government Business, Senator Lennox Weston, explained how impactful such legislation would be to any society, more so Antigua and Barbuda.
We believe in the Antigua-Barbuda Labour Party that any constitutional reform and any changes must start first with that fundamental pillar of our society called justice. Let us see what the people of Antigua and Barbuda think about the administering of justice. Because if, for example, you choose to commingle certain questions, like, for example, the monarchy, with justice, and you have the society on one hand voting to get rid of the monarchy, on the next hand retaining the monarchy's privy council, you could have a very perplexed an inconsistent signal.
He argued that the mandate of the Gaston Brown-led administration is to make the country an economic powerhouse. Constitutional reform is a means to that end.
The type of livelihood, the type of benefits you will get from being a citizen of Antigua Barbuda. And those of us who believe it doesn't take effort and time and focus to educate a society about several constitutional changes and what they mean, they are not experienced in terms of the type of focus you require to build a society economy.
But there was a strident response to the bill from some members on the opposition side, including this assertion from Senator Jackie Quinn.
I am saying that in terms of us moving to the CCJ, we have things to do. We have to fix the lower courts. We have lots of things to put in place. And I'm not going down that road, Madam President. We have lots of things to do, Madam President, before we can move to the CCJ. And I will take my debate elsewhere.
Prime Minister the Honorable Gaston Brown has indicated that the referendum previously slated for October of this year has been deferred to the first quarter of 2017. This is Aisha Caleb reporting for ABS News.
The man who allegedly tried to smuggle marijuana into Antigua this week is now on remand at Her Majesty's Prison. 37-year-old Dwayne Omar Swaby
is currently in police custody following his arrest at the V.C. Bird International Airport on Monday. The Jamaican is facing charges of importation of cannabis, possession of cannabis, possession with intent to supply, and drug trafficking. Police say the man, who was a passenger on a Caribbean Airlines flight, was traveling with a suitcase full of factory-sealed canned products appearing to contain cheese and juice. However, when customs officers opened the items, they reportedly discovered the cans of tasty cheddar cheese and various fruit juices.
Now the ranks of the Royal Police Force of Antigua and Barbuda will soon be bolstered with more members. 65 recruits are now participating in Course 45, which runs for 6 months and includes rigorous training exercises beginning at 4 in the morning. One of the recruits has told ABS about elements of the course.
You have 45 minutes to clean the compound. After that, you have 15 minutes to get dressed for physical training. After that, you have 15 minutes to get dressed for breakfast. After that, you have 15 minutes to get ready for muster, which is the flag raising and so forth. After that, we have 10 minutes to get ready for class. So you get back from class at 12, we have lunch for an hour. We should have an hour break, but these instructors, since they're so nice, they usually let us rest for like 10 minutes. We're back on the parade square for drills. So if you happen to pass at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you see smoke, it's not barbecue we're doing. It's the feat of 64 recruits drilling their hearts out there.
He says it's a calling and not a job, and he's encouraging fellow Antiguans and Barbudans to take on the challenge.
If you're going to go to training school for 6 months, you don't have a cell phone for 6 months. I haven't seen it, well, this is the first TV I'm seeing in about a month.
Yes, because when you came in here, you're like, ooh, the liquor freedom, let me try the liquor freedom.
Exactly, liberty. The only tea I want to drink out there is liberty, which is what we call freedom. Okay. So, I mean, ensure that you want to be here, because when the training is not easy. I promise you, it's not easy. Every day, the first day, 65 recruits are wondering, do I really want to be here? Why did I come here?
The recruits are scheduled to complete their course in December.
70 officers in the Royal Police Force of Antigua and Barbuda were honored for their long service and exemplary conduct. The ceremony formed part of celebrations of the 49th Police Week. Sheridan Beezer has our report.
While commending the officers for their loyalty and conduct, Deputy Commissioner Joseph Hughes commented on the origin of the Long Service and Good Conduct Medal.
As the Police Service and Good Conduct Medal was instituted under a royal warrant by King George IV in 1951 and is awarded as a mark of sovereign appreciation of long service, meritorious service rendered by the forces of the United Kingdom.
He notes that for an officer to become eligible for this award, the Chief Counsel must make a recommendation to the Home Secretary, certifying that the officer would have served for 18 years, has served efficiently for the period, and is of good character. Governor General Sir Rodney Williams gave glowing commendation to the officers.
Your role can never be overvalued. When criminal elements are at work in our communities, or whenever there's a civil unrest, our nation becomes acutely aware of the value of law enforcement. In spite of the challenges which you face, you are doing and have done a commendable job.
Sir Rodney urged them to stay committed to the principles of justice and fair play, to law and order, the maintenance of peace, while maintaining cordial relations with those they serve and those with whom they serve. He also offered these words of advice.
I urge you to stay committed to your cause, to the principles of justice and fair play, and to law and order, and the maintenance of peace, while at the same time maintaining cordial relations with those you serve and those with whom you serve. Resist the temptation to bully or to be unwieldy in the use of your authority. Be tolerant of those who are weak and cannot speak for themselves. Exercise objectivity in all that you do, irrespective of ethnicity, social status, gender, economic circumstance, or any such disposition or difference which may exist within the ambit of the law.
The celebration continues Wednesday night with the Veterans Cocktail, a send-off ceremony, March Past, Sports Day, and the much-anticipated Police Play. Police Week is being celebrated this year under the theme, with renewed energy, beyond all boundaries, we serve with integrity. Sherilyn Beasley reporting for ABS News.
Driving innovation in information and communication technologies, ICTs. That was the aim of a 6-month cadet program in which some of the country's best young minds participated. Jerry-Ann Grant reports on what has been hailed a successful program at the government-assisted technology endeavor.
The cadet program provides hands-on experience to young people in an effort to sharpen their skills in the area of information and communications technology. It also guides them in their entrepreneurial endeavors. Information Technology Minister, the Honorable Melford Nicholas, encouraged cadets to never stop learning and exploring their true potential.
I want to say to each of you that as you look for your new horizons and you look for your new economic opportunities going forward, be bold. I feel as if the entire scope of my ministry's work is to service this new generation of citizens that are coming forward.
The mission of the ICT Cadet Program is to develop the intellectual capital of Antiguans and Barbudans on the path to the country becoming an economic powerhouse. A major pillar of this revolves around entrepreneurship and innovation through the development of technological and creative industries. Speaking on behalf of their fellow cadets, Latifah Dorset and Rachel John expressed their gratitude for participating in the program.
The ICT Cadet facility has instilled in myself a broad horizon on the outlook of life. Creative concepts were challenged at every block. Patience was indeed a virtue.
It's really a worthwhile experience to know that there's someone to have your back and believes that you can be successful.
Over the past 6 months, the cadets received intensive hands-on training in computer repairs, networking, filming, and graphic design, among other fields. Jerry Grant reporting for ABS News.
When we come back, Darren Sammy has blasted the WICB again, and this time over the sacking of West Indies head coach. More on this up next in sports.
And also, St. Lucia Labour Party looks towards a crucial meeting to select a leader. Plus, scientists say one day it may be possible to make babies without using eggs. These stories are all ahead for us. Stay tuned.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're covered when your house gets flooded, getting your settlements quickly and fairly when a fire hits your home, and making sure your business can keep going even after an accident happens on site. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Sign up for a free Leparkin overseas mailbox and ship from the USA to Antigua by air for as low as US $3 per pound. No credit card, no worries. We will use ours and shop for you. And with our 2 flights per week, you'll have the package in no time. Breathe off with a sigh. Oh, and we also do home deliveries. How it works: sign up for a free US mailing address linked to Leparkin Shop. Have your items sent to your mailbox and we will forward it to you here in Antigua. Items are cleared by Leparkin. Sign up for free at www.ampac or visit our office on Pokefed Street for all your mailing, money transfers, ocean shipping, import, export, and cargo services. Choose Leparkin.
Murder! I leave Lord Jesus for hungry bad and me here a brownie, the only place I can get one bread and cheese right now.
And just bread and cheese alone you can get bread, bacon, egg, corned beef, tuna, saltfish, herring, chicken, franks, vegetable, everything.
The Brownie Bakery?
Brownie Bakery, all of them, every last one. St. John Street, Herbert's, Westport Station, Alsons Road, Marble Hill, Old Palm Road, Factory Road, High Street. No matter which part you want to go, you get breakfast.
Oh, and me here the one from High Street to move over to St. Mary Street.
So you just have to go over there for your breakfast.
Welcome to Holland. Welcome to the country of the world's most famous farmers. This is where your Dutch lady milk comes from. Taste our nature at its best. Dutch Lady. Discover the goodness of milk from Holland.
You have heard it before. You have heard it many times before. The hurricane season is real. The hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? Are you insured? Be comforted. ABI Insurance can be your shelter in the time of storm. They carry a wide range of insurance products. Coverage for your house, coverage for your boat, coverage for your motor vehicle, coverage for the contents in your house, including your valuables. Visit them today on Redcliffe Street in the ABI Financial Center building or call them at 484-6400. They are prepared to give you real good coverage and service. I'm Philbert Mason and I endorse ABI Insurance. Call them and they will take care of you. ABI Insurance, coverage you can trust. Call them now.
Welcome back. We now head to sports, where the sacking of Phil Simmons has got the attention of Darren Sammy. He's speaking out on this latest development in West Indies cricket. So let's hear that and more from Garfield Burford. Good evening, Garfield.
Very good evening to you, Donna. Good evening, Terry, and our viewers. Welcome to the wonderful world of sports. Not so wonderful for West Indies cricket, because let's tell you that former captain Darren Sammy has blasted the West Indies Cricket Board, the WICB, over the sacking of head coach Phil Simmons. We hear more on that from Andre Henry.
On his Facebook page, Sammy had much criticism for the WICB, saying Simmons' dismissal is contradictory to plans for the advancement of West Indies cricket. He said, after the publicity stunt in Fort Lauderdale, the first so-called plan to move West Indies cricket forward is to fire the coach just 2 days before a tour. Just proves to me what I already knew. If the blind lead the blind, they're bound to fall in a pit. The publicity stunt to which Sammy is referring is a players' symposium put on by the board in Florida back in August. Other players have reacted to Simmons' sacking as well. Kieran Pollard tweeted he was disappointed with the news and that Simmons will be dearly missed. The 53-year-old sacking came just 2 days before the West Indies tour of the UAE against Pakistan. The Windies will be under the supervision of Joel Garner, who's also the team manager. Roddy Estwick and Henderson Springer will be his assistants. This is Andre Henry reporting for ABS Sports.
All right, thanks, Andre. Let's stay on the subject because Mohammad Hafiz will miss Pakistan's limited overs series against West Indies in the UAE next month. You just heard Andre tell you about that. Hafiz has been ruled out of the ODI series owing to a calf muscle injury, which forced him to return home from the England tour after the first one-day international. He has been advised to further rest 3 weeks to complete his rehabilitation process. Hafiz appears to be an uncertain starter for the test matches as well. Pakistan and the West Indies will start their series with 2 T20 matches in Dubai on September 23 and 24 before playing the final fixture in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates on September 27. The series will be followed by a 3 one-day internationals from September 30 to October 5 and a 3-test series between October 13 and November 3. Now, former Guyana and West Indies captain Ramnaraj Sarwan will officially retire from cricket tomorrow. Sarwan will be making the announcement at the Stella Maris Primary School where he started his career. Out of nostalgia there, clearly. He played 87 test matches, scoring 5,842 runs at an average of 40.1, with 291 as his highest, along with 15 centuries. Sarwan appeared in 181 one-day internationals for the West Indies, scoring almost 6,000 runs at 42.60 with 500s. The 36-year-old is still the youngest West Indian player to play first-class cricket, which he first did as a 15-year-old. Now, an 8-team city-based 2020 competition is set to be introduced into English domestic cricket. The decision to advance the proposal, one of 5 options on the table, passed by 16 votes to 3. The tournament, which will take place in addition to the existing 18-team T20 Blast, is expected to start in 2018. The England and Wales Cricket Board, the ECB, has been keen to introduce a new T20 event to rival the Indian Premier League and Australia's Big Bash League. Surrey, Kent and Sussex were reported to be the 3 votes against the move. Back home now, plans to upgrade the Yasko Sports Complex, they have begun and are in high gear, as we hear from Bikiza David.
President of the Athletics Association, Everton Cornelius, says he will be seeking assistance from the survey department to get the ball rolling. Cornelius says the survey department is needed to outline the inner track and the drainage system. The former Olympian was speaking following the departure of consultant Maynolf Meyer of Plastic, a track building company based in Germany. Meyer says the track should be ripped up immediately because it is far from meeting the international standards. He says the surface is equivalent to the road because of how hard it is, and he would not recommend training to continue on the track. The German adds that it is best to train on grass because the material on the track is so thin that the athlete's spice could be touching the hard concrete below. He estimates the thickness to be about 6 millimeters, whereas standard surfaces are about 13 to 14. Bikiza David, ABS Sports.
Thanks, Bikiza. We'll keep tabs on that one for you. The World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, has confirmed it was targeted by a Russian cyber espionage group during the Olympic Games. Georgetta Lewis has more on this developing story.
WADA has condemned the Russian hackers for leaking confidential medical files of star U.S. Olympic athletes. Athletes affected include tennis players Venus and Serena Williams and a teenage gymnast Simone Biles. A group calling itself Fancy Bears claimed responsibility for the hack of the WADA database. WADA confirmed on Tuesday that the group had been able to access athlete data, including confidential medical reports, related to the Rio Olympics and subsequently released it into the public domain. After the leak, Biles said she has long been taking medicine for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. The hacker group had accused her of taking an illicit psychostimulant, but she said she had always followed the rules. USA gymnast said in a statement that Rio Olympics quadruple gold medalist has obtained the necessary permission to take prescription medicine on the WADA banned drugs list. This is Georgetta Lewis for ABS Sports.
Now, this year's school's football program will be rather pricey. It will cost the Ministry of Sports over $100,000 to facilitate football at school level for the 2016 season. Coordinator Rowan Porridge Benjamin says to operate the leagues alone is estimated at $70,000 in addition to transportation and other expenses. However, despite the fiscal challenges, Benjamin is anticipating increased participation for the upcoming season scheduled to start next month. Last year, 44 teams from 16 schools took part. Let's stay with football because overseas, the Champions League is all the rave now because yesterday it was Lionel Messi who scored a hat-trick, for Barcelona in the Champions League. Today, it was the turn of another Argentine. Sergio Aguero's trouble meant Manchester City dominated Borussia Mönchengladbach in their Champions League group opener. In Pep Guardiola's first group game in charge, Aguero pounced to prod in an Alexander Kolarov cross and later added a penalty. He rounded the keeper for his third in front of around 32,000 fans in a match which had been rescheduled due to rain, thunder and lightning yesterday. We told you about this last night, so it was played today. 32,000 fans turned out. In other results, holders Real Madrid, the Spanish Giants, scored twice in the final 2 minutes to come from behind and beat Sporting Lisbon of Portugal 2-1 in their Champions League opener. So a lot of expectation for Real Madrid in this competition. Sporting took the lead through a low shot from Bruno Cesar, but Cristiano Ronaldo, the talisman for Real Madrid, equalized in the 89th minute with a superb long-range free kick. And Alvaro Morata, back at Real after 2 years with Juventus, won it with a stoppage time header. Tottenham's, meanwhile, their Champions League season got off to a desperately disappointing start. Mauricio Pochettino's men slumped to a 2-1 defeat against Monaco at Wembley. We'll keep tabs on the Champions League for you. So big wins today for Real Madrid and Manchester City. Back home now, Rosianne Warrington is the first bodybuilding athlete to represent Antigua and Barbuda at pro level. Warrington showed off her figure in the IFBB Arizona Pro in Phoenix, Arizona, her first event since earning her pro card in September of last year. Warrington tied with 5 other athletes for 16th in a field of 25 in the pro figure class. Later this month, a number of bodybuilders will be aiming to join Warrington at the pro ranks when they compete at the CAC Championships. That competition runs from September 29 to October 2 in the Dominican Republic. We could see Brazil take on Argentina in the final of Paralympic five-a-side football. Brazil reached the semis as winners of Pool A after a goalless draw with Iran yesterday. Iran also advanced despite having to share the goals. In Pool B, Argentina and China finished first and second with 7 points each, the Argentines winning the group on goal difference. Argentina yesterday won a penalty shootout to win the group and set up a meeting with Iran in the final 4. Let's take a look at that shootout.
Shah Hosseini came in with a tackle and then they all followed. Oh, but Nonato's emerged! Oh, well tackled by Nonato. Clean as a whistle and off he comes. Nonato maybe all the way here. Well, Wang Zhubin. Oh, that's a splendid turn. Now Wang, it's opened up. Oh, he nearly got it. Oh, yeah. Equalise. Oh, he went bottom course for Argentina. Exactly. It's Argentina. And look what it means.
Absolutely fascinating action. Doesn't it seem as if they're just dancing with the ball? All right, we'll see how that one pans out. But the big story today is that there's more intrigue in West Indies cricket. Former captain Darren Sammy has blasted the WICB over the sacking of Phil Simmons. His comments on Twitter coming just 24 hours after the coach was sacked. We'll keep tabs on that development for you. When we come back after this break, Terry will rejoin us and he'll tell you about what happened across the region.
Kick up your feet, relax, and enjoy some downtime. At Quartz, find comfortable and stylish furniture that suits your taste. With living room suites from only $2,499. It's easier than ever to furnish your home the way you like it. Enjoying your home is made easy. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
Tropical shipping is fast and reliable. Always on time, safe and affordable. Friendly staff there to connect you. Tropical worldwide, you must get you. Shop online and you get it on time. Hassle free to meet your deadline. Consolidate any size, any load with Tropical shipping, so we ship everything. I can't wait to ship with Tropical. I can't wait. No package too big, too small. I cannot wait to ship with Tropical. No package too big, too small. Just ship with Tropical.
Local agents, Antigua Maritime Agencies Limited, located at Milburn House, Old Palm Road, St. John's, Antigua. Contact us at 562-2934 or 562-4871, or you can email us at aoffice@tropical.com.
Ellie, David House is on fire.
You serious?
Yes, and the fire truck just passed me.
I keep telling you we need to get insurance.
I already have the car insured with state and I'm going to get the house insured.
And life insurance. And we can insure the jewelry and valuables too. Let's check the website.
Secure what matters to you most. At State Insurance, we offer life and medical, property, motor, and other insurance coverages to protect your most valuable from the unexpected. Visit our website at sicantigua.com or call 481-7800. State Insurance Corporation, for your protection and our economy.
Mikasa Imports Limited is having its craziest tile clearance sale ever. Prices have been slashed store-wide. Every beautiful floor and wall tile reduced between 20 to 30%. Ceramic, porcelain and glass tiles all reduced. Come in and visit our improved air-conditioned showroom on Sir George Water Highway and choose from one of the largest selections of tiles in Antigua. Not seeing what you want? No problem. We will get it from one of over 50 factories we represent worldwide. Mikasa Imports Limited, making luxury affordable.
The regional news is sponsored by Antigua Lottery.
You can win with the Caribbean Lottery. You can win, making a difference, changing lives. Take a chance. Take a chance, and you can win. With the Caribbean Lottery, you can win, you can win.
In less than a month, the St. Lucia Labour Party may have a new political leader. The opposition party's conference of delegates is scheduled for early October. We go to HGS News Force for this story.
A void was left to be filled in the party's leadership upon the resignation of Dr. Kenny Anthony following the SLP's June 6 loss. In keeping with the dictates of the political organization's constitution, Deputy Leader and Castries East MP Philip J. Pierre was endorsed as interim political leader until October's convention. Therefore, in just about 3 weeks, the position, along with others, including the chair, will be up for grabs. However, Clark says, unlike what obtained with their counterparts in yellow between 2013 and 2015, there will be no power struggle.
At this point, nominations for all positions are still open, and they remain open until, I think, the 23rd of September. So it's only at that point we would know exactly how many people are vying for the various positions. I can say with a certain level of certainty that one of the persons who will be vying for that position is the current political leader of the party, who is the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, a very experienced politician, a person who has served the Labour Party well and so on. But of course the field is open to anybody else who would like to put their name up for consideration.
The National Council meeting held in July, which endorsed Philip J. Pierre as political leader, also selected the first and second deputy leaders in the persons of Labrie MP Alva Batiste and Dunry North MP Sean Edward. The latter two will hold their respective positions for 3 years.
We'll have more developments after the break. Stay with us.
Multiply your winnings. Multiply your fun. Play the new X Games from the Caribbean Lottery. Multiply your money up to 50 times for the extreme winnings of up to $120,000 with over $3.5 million in prizes to be won. Play the new X Games from the Caribbean Lottery.
Scientists say early experiments suggest it may one day be possible to make babies without using eggs. They have succeeded in creating healthy baby mice by tricking sperm into believing they were fertilizing normal eggs. The findings in Nature Communications could, in the distant future, mean women can be removed from the baby-making process, say the researchers. The University of Bath scientists started with an unfertilized egg in their experiments. They used chemicals to trick it into becoming a pseudo-embryo. These fake embryos share much in common with ordinary cells, such as skin cells, in the way they divide and control their DNA. The researchers reasoned that if injecting sperm into mouse pseudo-embryos could produce healthy babies, then it might one day be possible to achieve a similar result in humans using cells that are not from eggs. In the mice experiments, the odds of achieving a successful pregnancy was 1 in 4. And the UN says large amounts of humanitarian aid have still not entered Syria 3 days after a nationwide ceasefire came into effect. We go to Euronews, who has this report.
In the besieged city of Aleppo, the significant drop in violence saw people come out to visit the city's markets and celebrate the festival of Eid. But disagreements between warring sides and security fears are said to be holding up deliveries. This woman said, "We're happy and relaxed. With the planes, how could we go out for Eid? If there are planes, there's no safety. Everyone is scared." On the ground, the ceasefire is said to have largely held, though Russia's military released footage appearing to show 2 of its soldiers coming under fire, backing up reports of sporadic violations. Earlier, Moscow called for a 48-hour extension of the truce it brokered with the United States. The UN says 2 of its supply convoys, each of around 20 trucks, are stuck after crossing the Turkish border. The Syrian government has been heavily criticised for trying to block the aid flows to Aleppo, but it has said they must be coordinated through itself and the UN. Despite that, 2 trucks in the Turkish-controlled northern Syrian town of Jarablus did get through on Wednesday, delivering food and toys.
When we come back from the break, we go and have a weather report.
And also here for us this evening, an educational institution to offer courses in anti-money launder policy. This story a bit later, right here on the ABS Evening News. Stay with us.
Looking for that dream smile at a great price? Check Hadid Dental Clinic, now open Ron Henry Street, Gambles. Hadid Dental Clinic offers you reasonable prices and the best dental job. Among the services provided by Hadid Dental Clinic are oral examinations, digital oral x-rays, whitening and fluoride treatment, digital panoramic x-rays, root canal treatment, wisdom tooth surgical extractions, cosmetic dentistry, crowns and bridges, dentures all kind full and partial, penis extractions, children's dentistry, dental implants, and much, much more. At Hadid Dental Clinic, you will find the latest dental equipment. Hadid Dental Clinic is open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Call now for an appointment and make your dreams smile a beautiful reality on telephone number 562-7878. Si hablo español. Private parking is also available.
Are you tired of paying your hard-earned money for slow internet? Don't you hate waiting forever for your favorite videos to load? I bet you're frustrated and had enough. Well, it's time to get iNet. Give us a call at 480-7375. iNet offers fast, reliable, true-to-speed internet with new and affordable packages. Sign up with Antigua's best internet service. Just plug in, connect, and surf. iNet brings the world to your fingertips instantly. iNet, it's all about the experience. Join us today
and be the talk of the neighborhood.
We're back here now with the weather report, and Cecil Matthew has joined us. Good evening, Cecil.
Good evening to you, Terry and Donna. Well, a surface high pressure is dominating skies across the region, but we have tropical depression number 12 just formed this afternoon across the Atlantic. Meanwhile, we'll just take a look at the commercial, then we'll return with the weather package for tonight.
The weather report is brought to you by United Insurance.
You think you're prepared, right? Sure, you have batteries. And of course, you've done repairs. But can you replace your home and its possessions if they are damaged or destroyed? Is your house insured adequately? You can never be too prepared for a natural disaster. Have a preparedness plan in place for you and your family. And be sure to insure your vehicle, your property, and its contents with Massey United Insurance. Contact our agent, Anjo Insurances, at 480-3050 or visit us online at www.masseyunitedinsurance.com.
Welcome back. Dry and stable conditions dominate skies across the region today. As a matter of fact, we didn't see any rainfall activities across the airport today. In the entire region across the Leeward Islands. So generally partly cloudy skies prevail across the islands today. High temperature reaching just about 31 degrees Celsius, 88 Fahrenheit. Total rainfall remains at 158.9 millimeters, 6.2 inches for the month of September so far. Taking a look now at a satellite photograph for today, we're seeing the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, pretty much void of cloud as that high pressure system slowly builds into the area. Mainly dry and stable conditions prevail across the islands today. Little or no shower activity is reported. Across the windward, however, they had some showers due to a trough still sitting in that area. Further to the west, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, they were partly cloudy today with some showers developing across them in the afternoon hours. Similar conditions took place over Jamaica, while Cuba remained partly cloudy today with some light showers as well. Across the Eastern Caribbean for tonight and tomorrow, we're looking at the Leeward Islands. The Virgin Islands will continue to see fair weather for tonight, with the slight chance of some light showers developing overnight early tomorrow morning across these islands. Meanwhile, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, the Windward Islands, will continue to see cloudy spells and some showers across them for tonight and also tomorrow. Similar conditions will take place over Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and also Cuba and Jamaica for tonight and into tomorrow as well. Taking a look now at the Atlantic, we have tropical depression number 12 forming earlier in the Atlantic. In relation to the islands, we can see the Eastern Caribbean just across here, and tropical depression number 12 still just off of the coast of the African continent, moving across the Atlantic. So some data for the 5 o'clock this afternoon was located near 17.4 degrees north, longitude 25.5 degrees west, and that's about 190 miles west-northwest of the Cape Cabo Verde Islands. The storm is moving towards the west-northwest at about 15 miles per hour. The maximum sustained winds about 35 miles per hour, with the minimum central pressure just about 1,009 millibars. As we can see the forecast track for the rest of until Monday morning, that is where it's supposed to be by Monday morning, come Monday morning. The islands are situated right here, so we can see it will still be a little further out. This system forecast track continues to put it further west as the high pressure sits just north of the area. So we have to keep an eye on this one in the next couple of days coming ahead. Take a look now at what's happening on the outside. Partly cloudy skies with temperature out there reaching just about 26 degrees Celsius or 79 Fahrenheit. Winds out there generally blowing out to the east-northeast, just about 7 knots. So for the rest of tonight, we are anticipating that partly cloudy conditions to continue with a slight possibility of some overnight showers. Generally, winds should blow out of the east-northeast between 5 to 8 knots tonight. Overnight low is expected to be just about 26 Celsius, 79 Fahrenheit. For tomorrow, look for more partly cloudy conditions. High temperature could reach just about 31 Celsius or 88 Fahrenheit. Winds for tomorrow generally should blow out of the east-northeast, just about 5 to 10 knots. So sunrise time for tomorrow, 5:55, and sun will set tomorrow just about 6:09 p.m. Taking a look now at the marine side, slight sea conditions with wave height reaching 3 to 4 feet, pretty flat seas for sea bathing and sailing as well. East-northeasterly winds over the seas between 5 to 10 knots for tomorrow. Next couple of days ahead, expecting high pressure system to remain in place, making way for fair skies Friday, Saturday into Sunday. A weak trough could bring some showers across the islands by Saturday. Winds generally should blow out of the east, keeping light between 5 to 10 knots. High temperature remaining 31 Celsius, 88 Fahrenheit, and our low should continue to remain in the mid-20s. And that's it for your weather for tonight. Don't go away as the news continues in ABS.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
Local agents and Joe Insurances, Visit our offices in 3 convenient locations: Wood Center, Jolly Harbor, and Falmouth.
In our penultimate story for this evening, the Antigua-Barbuda International Institute of Technology has partnered with the ALFMC Institute in Florida to offer courses in anti-money launder policy. This follows a memorandum of understanding signed between Abbott and the Institute in 2015. Founder of the Miami-based institute, Michelle Martin, explained the course offerings under this arrangement.
Offering education and research in the field of anti-money laundering, countering the financing of terrorism and financial crimes prevention. Students going through this program will come out being certified in that field. It's a 15 weeks program. Each week, classes are once a week for about 2 to 2.5 hours. At the end of the 15 weeks, there's a standardized examination that they take. It's 100 multiple choice, 70% the passing grade. Every week, we follow a different chapter. We're following all of the key components of the anti-money laundering regime internationally and locally.
Martin also went on to explain Abbott's role.
Abbott, as our partner here for the OECS and Barbados, ensures that the program carries the local components. So besides learning about the international world, which we have to be aware of in the regulatory environment we're in, we also need to be aware of the laws of Antigua and Barbuda, for instance, and those around the OECS that work and live in their respective countries, of what their anti-money laundering acts says. And so, like Ms. Martin says, it's an interesting field. It's very exciting. It's growing. It's not going anywhere. I'm sure as we turn our televisions all the time, we're hearing about some money laundering case or terrorist financing.
There is a particular focus in this area because of a shortage of qualified individuals in the region. Abbott is the partner for the entire OECS region and Barbados, and it is the point of contact for those interested in taking part in the next course scheduled for October 6th. Meanwhile, Antigua and Barbuda's Heather Bradshaw was a student with the best performance in the first anti-money laundering policy course. Acting head of campus Danielle Martin says she is very proud of Bradshaw and her accomplishments.
We're very proud of Ms. Bradshaw and to know that we got the top spot in the entire OECS region.
Wow. Martin is inviting interesting persons to register for the course as soon as possible, as there will be 25 to 30 spots in the class and seats are filling up quickly. She advises persons to take part in this initiative, noting that there are many job opportunities available in this field. Well, that's the news in case you missed it this evening. Here's a recap of our top stories. Push on poultry, fresh attempt to increase local chicken meat production to reduce imports.
Crucial discussions on correspondent banking. Prime Minister meets with 2 regional financial institutions.
Labour Department backs call for increased wages for skilled workers in private security sector.
And Innovation Nation cadet program seeks to drive entrepreneurship in ICT sector. Our photo this evening, someone from Island Wings took aerial shots of this country, specifically the south side. We don't have the photo? All right. We don't have the photo this evening, so remember, when you're out and about and you witness something beautiful or something incredible, send it to us. Our email is abs.news@ab.gov.ag.
We should have let you describe what we should have seen. Remember to visit our website at www.abstvradio.com to view stories from tonight's newscast. I'm Donna Marie McIntosh, and on behalf of our news and production team, thank you for watching.
And I'm Terry Andrew. God willing, we'll be right back here same time tomorrow. Good night.